Good afternoon, dear friends. Welcome to a commentary channel. Content varies. I've uploaded thousands of videos. You may just find something you like. I decided to do a video on our election. The election that was held in Australia last Saturday. The winner of the election, the Labor Party, which is a left-wing government, for those of you who don't know. So Labor is left-wing, Liberal is right-winged. And we have in Australia lots of different parties, but the two major players are Labor and the Coalition. The Coalition is made up of Liberal and National Party, but the Nationals were decimated a few years ago, and so it's more Liberal now. And before I talk about what happened, and what did happen was that Labor won so outstandingly that I don't think a coalition, so a right-winged government, will be able to get in for quite a while yet. Now, I want to let you know that I'm not a specialist in politics, but I do know my views. First, I'll talk about my views. I did the ABC poll survey to see where I laid, and my views are very progressive left-winged. Apparently, I aligned with the Green Party. I didn't vote Green. In fact, this time I was so fed up of everything, I voted Independent. The reason I voted Independent is because an Independent doesn't have to answer to a party or to politics. An Independent can listen to the people. But I want to let you know that America polarized Australia. What happened in America when Australians, the majority of Australians, saw Trump get elected, we were horrified. However, having said that, I know of a few very wealthy women, note this, women in their 50s, who are totally in love with Trump. Now, politics gets really nasty, but in Australia, we should be respectful. And even though I didn't like the opposition leader, and before I continue about that, I just want to say here and now, I'm sorry, I did not like Peter Dutton. I did not like what he stood for. But having said that, Peter Dutton served over 2 decades in Parliament, and his seat of Dixon he lost, which is it's good on one hand that it went to a Labor candidate. The lovely lady who is 51, she lost her leg in a car accident protecting her children, and only 18 months ago lost her son. But even so, Peter Dutton had family. He is not the first Liberal coalition leader to lose their electorate, which is their seat. Our former Prime Minister, John Howard, lost his seat in the election a while ago in the early 2000s. I just wanted to say this is why Peter Dutton lost. Peter Dutton aligned himself too much like Trump. He wanted Medicare to go. Now, for those of you who don't know, Australia is very blessed that we have Medicare. That means every person can get to see a doctor. It's rare now for bulk billing, but if we want to go to hospital, it doesn't cost us to go to a public hospital. It's free. And Peter Dutton wanted to do away with that. He also started sprouting a lot of rhetoric that sounded like Trump, and this scared Australians. The second reason why he was defeated so devastatingly and tragically was because he pushed for nuclear power. Nuclear power is way too expensive. It might be a cleaner alternative to coal and oil, and don't get me wrong, since my views aligned with the Greens, I'm all about the environment. I don't agree with natural gas. When you get natural gas, you cause the earth to fracking, and that's dangerous. And I've also done a video before that Tesla had invented something that was clean power that would have, I'm going to use the word fueled, but it's not a fuel. It would have allowed the whole world, to have power for 1,000 years. Those papers, or that of Tesla, who designed this, was read by an uncle of Mr. Trump, and so happened to have disappeared, as if. We all know where it goes. My son tells me to be very careful. Now, like I tried to say earlier, this political and politics and this election has taught me something. It's taught me about hatred. And I have to admit, I had hatred for Trump, and I had hatred for Peter Dutton, for the coalition party. But hatred, as you know, feeds dark forces. This is what dark forces want. So as I put on another video, I forgive Trump and I forgive Peter Dutton, and he does deserve recognition for the time he did serve in Parliament, and apparently he is a nice man. I can't be convinced. I don't think personally any politician is nice, because to be a politician you have to be deceitful, you have to lie. And that's the sad thing about politics, is I may want to stand and really represent what my people in my electorate want. But if I stand for a party, it doesn't matter what my people in my electorate want, not the voters. It's what my party dictates. Anyway, congratulations to Albanese. And again, I think Labor's going to be in for a long time. This was one time where my prediction of Dutton getting in was wrong. If the election had been held a few months earlier, Peter Dutton, you would have won. But as I said, you became more and more Trump-like, and the Australian people are sick of what Trump has done to us. We are supposed to be its ally, and the way Trump has treated everybody. I mean, Canada did the same with their elections. There are other countries about to go to elections. We'll see what happens with them. But there's obviously this movement of pure rejection of Trump. Now, I watched on Channel 9 the Trump dynasty, and he always was a bullshitter. He bankrupted a casino, and he so bankrupted a casino, he made it become a public company, which means you can buy shares. And originally, those shares started at $17, went up to $35, ended up being 17 cents. So the shareholders of that casino that Trump built, it was the like the terminal, something like that, the terminal. It was one of the biggest casinos in Atlantic City. And yeah, anyway, I'm off the topic. I do want to say to Peter Dutton, I am sorry for the hatred, because you only did what you thought was right. Unfortunately, the Australian people have disagreed. The other unfortunate thing is my electorate is Fisher. Ted O'Brien, who is a Liberal National Party, he got in again. He's been in this. It's a very safe Liberal seat. A lot of boomers live here. And Ted O'Brien has been elected many, many times here. And I've got to remember that these people, whether you're Liberal, Labor, Greens, One Nation, or the Marijuana Party, you are a person. And as a person, you deserve respect. So please, let's stop the hatred and let's respect the people for, giving it a go. It's not easy to run a country. The other thing is that people tend to get caught up in the value of the dollar, whether it's America, whether it's Australia. I'm sorry, the value of the dollar, it was destroyed decades ago, when people could once buy houses for $6,000, and now a house around where I live costs $1 million. I'll give you another comparison. I watched an ad for a Jeep. This brand new Jeep, they wanted 47,000 Australian dollars. The first house I bought with my first husband only cost me $50,000. So a car, now a price for a house? Ridiculous. But yes, going back, the dollar, the value of the dollar was decimated many decades ago, and to blame the governments, well, Labor inherited Liberals' debt, and this is why Peter Dutton, if it had been held a few months ago, would have perhaps won, because everyone's sick and tired of the cost of living. Even my shopping bill, in the last 2 years, I'm paying nearly $100 more for a shop. Once upon a time, my shopping bill was $120 for a fortnight, and that's not buying any meat, That's not buying any fruit. That's not buying any vegetables. I get a disability pension, and now my bill is around $200. All right, 40 of it goes to a dog, but I still don't buy meat, and I still don't buy fruit, and I still don't buy vegetables. I'm living very measly, like poverty, and I don't pay much rent because I'm in Department of Housing. So people are doing it tough, and they blamed Labor for it. So at one stage, Peter Dutton was a sure thing, but he started to become too much like Trump and to push a nuclear. Now, we're behind the 8 ball. Nuclear should have come in 20 years ago, but it's too expensive now. The other thing is with nuclear, who takes the waste? Where do we put the waste? Out to sea? The environmentalist in me says no. So do we bury this toxic waste in the earth? We've already polluted the earth enough. I'm off topic, but I just wanted to say, let's give our politicians respect, because they, even though they may be wrong, they're doing the best they can with the laws they have. So let's stop the hatred and the judgment. And next time in the election, vote for me. I often said, you vote for me. And I once had an opportunity to go in the Senate. I was elected, I was with a party. It was actually One Nation. So it's funny that One Nation is very right-winged and my views are very left-wing. But I was part of One Nation, and as the party got me, said, do you want to go be part of the Senate? And I said, yes, but guess what? It costs $2,000 to, nominate. So I, being the communism in me, jokingly said, all right, so you have to be rich to be elected. Then that's the truth of the matter. You have to have some money to get elected. The common man in the street, or the common human in the street, can't get elected. But there is a little loophole. Say you pay your $2,000 and nominate. As long as you get at least 2,000 votes, you'll get your money back. All right, thanks for watching. It's a long, garbled, mixed message, and I'm not an expert in politics, but Peter Dutton lost, and I'm sorry he lost his seat, but we also shouldn't pity these politicians. They use taxpayers' money to go on holidays, to eat out lavishly, and when they retire, they're looked after. They get a pension. All right, thanks for watching. Be kind to each other and one another, and to yourselves, and love, light and blessings, and catch you on the other side when I talk about my normal subjects. Bye.